Hello everyone, and welcome to the Hunter Association, your source for all things Hunter x Hunter. My name is Kaige.
And my name is Dylan.
And on this week's episode, we will be talking about Hunter x Hunter 1999, episodes 67 and 68. Nearly at the end.
What a treat.
Yes. Then, of course, we'll be going through our community comments. If you would like to join in on the community and have your comment read, be sure to comment on the YouTube version on the weekly community posts. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to help grow our community of Hunter x Hunter fans. Additionally, if you'd like to know when new episodes are live, click the bell to enable notifications. If you're an audio listener, make sure to rate, review, and comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at TXHXAPod, as well as Bluesky at THAPod for podcast-related updates and to submit responses to the weekly call-out posts. If you'd like, you can also still email us at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com. As always, we provided timestamps in the description if you would like to skip ahead to any of the aforementioned segments. No news.
Shocker, I know.
No news.
There is something to say. We haven't really been covering any Nen Survivor coverage, but honestly, even doing double checks through the social media accounts and whatnot, it's just all kind of campaign stuff leading up to the release next month. So not a whole lot to say on that note either. So there's actually just
300,000 pre-registers or whatever.
Yeah,
roughly.
yeah. They have some goals as well. If they hit 400,000, 500,000, so on and so forth. If they hit 600,000, everyone gets a free S rank character, whatever that'll mean for that game. So well,
Yippee.
Yeah. Go pre-register if you're interested in that, I guess.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from that, though, it's been radio silence as per usual. One day, though, we're gonna wake up to me and Kaige at least will wake up to the news, and then we'll come on a podcast episode and be able to tell you, I'm sure, a metric butt ton of news. A metric butt. That's funny. Metric butt. Yeah, a lot of news at some point, I'm sure, when the chapters are releasing again. But today is not that day. Sorry to say.
No, it is not that day. One day.
One day soon, hopefully. Soon TM.
Hopefully. Yeah, we'll see. All right. I mean, not really much to talk about here up top, so just go ahead and get into 99. Let's do it.
Let's just jump in, yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome to our discussion on Hunter x Hunter 1999, episodes 67 and 68. Starting off with episode 67, Report Darkness Released Chain. So, this is a unique one.
Yeah.
While I was watching this, and the further along I got, I was thinking to myself, I could come on this show and summarize this episode in 2 sentences, and we could just move on with our lives. But I will not do that. It's just that this is an incredibly uneventful episode in terms of moving the plot forward.
Yeah. This is a very, I wouldn't even say, atmospheric episode. It's just a lot of just dialogue in general. We had a batch similar to how this episode was kind of presented not too long ago, I believe, within these OVA series.
It was 2 episodes ago.
Yeah. So,
2 podcast episodes ago.
Yeah, it really wasn't that long ago that we had something like this for the entire batch. Thankfully, I don't think this is the case for the entire batch necessarily. I think next episode especially will have.
It's just this episode. It's it's just so this episode. This is the Paku episode. We focus hard on Pakunoda in this episode, and it does the classic 90s anime. Well, some anime still do this, but where they make a lot out of a little. They extend what is really a very small portion of the story into an entire episode, and to good and bad effect. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But starting off, we start where we left off with the boys tied up by Machi's strings. Her strings look weird in this episode.
A little.
I can tell. I know what they're going for. They're going for the light refracting off of them. But the way they did it, it kind of just looks like weird blue orbs, just randomly scrolling across the screen. Doesn't quite look right, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that they're strings at the very least, so like it didn't really bother me. But I did like make a mental note of that looks a little off. But
Yeah, exactly. So we start with the other group of the troop coming in. I think it's Nobunaga. Who else? Who
Nobunaga.
cares?
Who else was with Kortopi?
Pakunoda and Kortopi.
Yeah.
Kortopi's the other one. Classic, highly memorable character.
Yeah. Oops.
So Nobunaga, I love this part where Nobunaga sees them and they're like, "Again, guys, come on."
It's very fun. He's just like, "Oh, I see. You want to actually join us, huh? Yeah. Okay, I see you." Kurolo, come take a look at these little shits.
Yeah. he's having fun, but Crollo is immediately suspicious, and because they decide to close their eyes, they use the excuse of it's like, I don't even want to look at you people, so they both use that as a semi-believable excuse to close their eyes. But Crollo sees the bullshit, and he has Pakunoda try to read their minds again, but Killua, with some quick thinking, distracts her, and but it's such a weird way to distract her. This is how it is in the manga, but it's always odd to me. Like, this is a huge risk that he's taking, that this will actually buy them any time at all. But all he does is taunt her, really. He's just like, yeah, there's no point. Like, why even bother?
In his defense, literally, what else could you possibly do to stall for even just a few more seconds?
Yeah, there's literally nothing else. It worked, though.
It did work.
So she just kind of rambles about how her ability works.
Yeah.
She's not like reading surface level thoughts exactly. It's just like whatever comes through the subconscious whenever she says whatever she says. Which I love. It's such a cool ability.
Yeah. It's a very simple ability, but the way it's presented and talked about, like it's a lot more like intricate than you would think otherwise, I think. It makes for an interesting character aspect in Pakunoda as well.
So then, after they stall for long enough, the lights go out. It was 7 o'clock, I think, is the time.
Yeah, important to note this is right when she asked the question too that Kurlo instructed her ask.
Yes, that is important to know.
What are you hiding? I think is what it was.
Yeah, so she does get the question out. But lights go out. Kilo was able to escape. There's this whole exchange, and insert name came to mind during this scene. It is very dark intentionally, but this is for good reason. This is the darkest that 99 has ever been.
Yeah. The only time you'll hear us like give praise for that decision, I guess.
Yeah. It looks really cool. I actually quite enjoyed this. Also, Machi's threads look a lot cooler in this scene.
Yeah, which is what probably that's why I'm thinking they chose to go for that kind of a look for these strings in this episode at the very least, just for this moment. I think just to make it stand out more.
However, I want to say if that is supposed to be the light refracting off of them, there's no light here to even refract off of, so I don't really know what it is now.
Nen aura, I don't know.
Yeah, they're Nen threads. I don't know. They just do that in the dark. They're glow in the dark threads.
Yeah, that's their specialty.
But yeah, there's the whole cool exchange here. Kilo gets his hand stuck in Machi's abdomen.
Yeah, she keeping it in place with her muscles. That is insane.
Yeah, it's so cool. So Kilo gets got again, and then Gon also gets got once again, but does kick Pakunoda like in the jaw. I think Kilo does that, and then Kilo kicks her in the jaw, and then Gon kicks her in the ribs.
Yeah.
Poor Paku. She just got double comboed.
I mean, fair. She was kind of being a little forceful with them, reading their minds too. I mean, granted, Killa taunted the shit out of her, but she was choking them. She kind of had it coming to her.
She did. So yeah, they got them again. Gon's upside down the whole time. Poor kid. Later, Nobunaga even passes him off to Shizuku, and still upside down. just passes over his legs. So did the lights? No, the lights come back on way later. I feel like in 2011 this happened a lot faster, but the lights are still off.
They're off and they're caught now. They're like, oh, we failed. That
Yeah,
mission unsuccessful.
or so they think.
Yeah. The goal was to escape though, so like they did kind of fail in a way.
Well, yeah, they did fail. This would have been a lot better if they had escaped.
Yeah.
But that did not happen.
There is always a backup plan though.
Yep. So somebody, who we know is Kurapika, throws a knife with a letter attached to it right past Nobunaga's head, which they eventually read after Nobunaga passes, going off to Shizuku by his legs.
Importantly, the letter was for Pakunoda specifically, though.
Yeah, I was getting to that. Nobunaga has it and then says, so it's for you, Paku. So she reads it, and she does like a weird nen thing with the letter. I didn't really know what that was.
I
still don't really know what that is. Does something, makes it glow. And she... I guess am I forgetting how her ability works? Is she able to use it on objects?
That literally just came to mind, because then we transition into the whole that whole like little scene where it shows what actually happened in the dark, which was Kurapika capturing Crollo, right?
Yeah.
Let me I'll take a look at her page real quick here if you want to keep elaborating.
But it's a very simple letter. All it says is speak of their memories, and he dies. Talking about Crollo, which they realized that Crollo is gone. He is not there. So Kurapika got him, and then we do get a whole montage of seeing what exactly happened to get to that point. And I mean, yeah, it's just Kurapika took advantage of the dark, and like the split second where Crollo's focus was on the fact that the power went out, Kurapika chained him up and took him.
Very smart. And also, they mentioned this very quickly after, I'm pretty sure, but like Kurapika was the receptionist in the hotel lobby as well. So, Leorio was causing that whole ruckus not just to kind of give the hint to go and kill what the plane was still on, but he kind of grabbed their attention to him and off of Kurapika potentially. So, very smart all around.
He's the GOAT.
I also did just look up Pakunoda's ability, and yeah, she can actually use her ability to see an object's past while touching it. So that was presumably what happened there.
Wow. Huh. Well, I think this is the only time we ever see it, because, I mean, obviously she'll be dead soon.
It's such a cool ability, though. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's like, I know you haven't played the new Star Wars Jedi games, but the main character in that has, like, Force... it's the same thing. You can use the Force to see in the past.
That's so cool.
It's exactly like that. Yeah. So, from here is now where we begin this really interesting scene, very long scene of Pakunoda kind of just spiraling. She's just considering all of the possibilities that now lie solely on her.
Yeah. That's a lot of pressure. I don't blame her for kind of her mind just kind of unraveling, right before us.
Yeah, and I do really like this. It's just really long. I have such weird, like, conflicting feelings because I like the way that I like the concept of the scene.
Yeah.
But it's not very visually interesting. It's kind of just panning shots of her.
Yeah. I mean, there are some interesting parts of it, I think, but like it's very like segmented and it's very just like all over the place. It feels like, but like it's not in a good way necessarily, because like again, like you said, it's all just kind of like still images of Paku's face or like scenes we've already seen in prior episodes, or just like a colored background with Pakunoda's like model there, right?
Yeah.
But you get some interesting stuff too. Like I like the little part, I think it was towards the beginning of that scene where like the cross that like Crollo wears, like it had a little animation of like the chains kind of wrapping around it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there is some visually appealing stuff in there to me, I think. But yeah, I'm pretty aligned with how you're feeling about it.
Yeah. You can kind of divide the scene in like two halves because there's a little break from the Pakunoda mind spiral where she kind of snaps out. No, Nobunaga snaps her out of it for a second, and just we see that she has, for now at least, decided to just keep her mouth shut, not risk Crollo. And then we kind of go back again into her mind and realize why she is feeling that way and how she has conflicting feelings about it because, I mean, she's technically betraying the spider by deciding this. We go back to when the spider was formed and we see Crollo talking about how even though he's the leader, his orders are absolute, but he is not that important ultimately. If if there's ever a life or death situation with him involved, go with the mission over him.
What do we think of these, the coloring and designs of the young Phantom Troop here in this scene for 99?
Not what I was expecting. A lot of them look different for like no reason. I feel like Uvo.
Why does he have purple hair? Yeah. That was the main one. I'm like, what in the world, man? Okay.
Really odd. And yeah, even like Paku, she has like, what is it, orange hair?
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to that scene. Yeah, she has kind of like a gingery kind of hair color there, which is I don't think that's
so weird.
Yeah, she's kind of has like a dirty blonde color like here in this adaptation.
Yeah.
Right? So don't know how that happened.
I guess they just decided to dye their hair at some point, but it's neat. I obviously love seeing the scene. It's just cool. Yeah. Given what we know from the future of the series, just a cool scene to see. And it really, I also like that scene of showing the close up of Pakunoda and then it fades into her adult form.
Yeah, that was cool.
As she continues, it's cool. It's a cool presentation, but again, it is a lot of just kind of still imagery. Oh, and this is actually where the scene of the cross wrapping up and change happens.
Okay.
It's right after that.
I think it happened a couple times now that I'm thinking about it. Like it's,
did it?
Yeah. Or like it's like a little different here and there, but like obviously a big part of this scene is just like the chain visualization as it's happening.
Oh yeah.
Which I really do like because like not only is it like Karapika, obviously, like he's involved in like this entire situation. But like I like it for representing how like chained to this entire situation Pakunoda must feel at the same time too, considering that like it's like the ball is like entirely in her court, and I can imagine she feels very trapped in it as a result, right?
Yeah, she is having a lot of conflicting feelings, and again, I really like that 99 took the time to focus on her mental. Whatever you want to call this, collapse, I don't know.
Yeah.
As she tries to unravel what she needs to do here. And this then... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to also point out real quick before we moved on, back to the whole Crollo cross thing. I just realized, or just remembered my note that I made earlier of what I found cool about it. At the beginning, when Pakunoda started spiraling, it had a visualization of the chains just like wrapping around the cross. Signifying Crollo being captured. But here, at this point of which we're kind of recapping this episode, the chains literally break the cross and representing, the path they would take if, Pakunoda were to speak at all, basically, and, Crollo would die. I just found that really cool. I thought it was cool visualization.
Yeah, and it's, this whole thing can obviously harken to what we are currently talking about in the manga, like current manga material, because we're dealing with a very similar thing of Crollo going on this kind of seemingly self-destructive, selfish path, while the other members of the troop are... they don't want him to die. They know the troop's done. If he dies, whether he wants to admit it or not, the troop cannot go on without him.
Yeah, this starts that entire, what's the word, dichotomy, I don't know, of the troop in general. Like Crollo thinks that he's just not important, the whole, as long as the whole spider lives on, right, even without the head. And literally everybody else in the troop just does not see that same point of view, but they can't necessarily communicate that to each other despite them being as big of a family as they are. Like it's just so fascinating to me. I love how this is set up. and how it
Yeah,
kind of ties into even today, Hunter x Hunter. You know what they're exploring as we get new chapters.
Yeah. So this whole Pakunoda scene concludes with this really, again, pretty basic in terms of animation, as in there is no new animation as far as I'm aware. But we see a still shot of Pakunoda with her eyes closed as a bunch of imagery appears, overlaid on top of her from their past and from this arc, Meteor City, all that. As a really, really beautiful music piece plays that I loved it, so good. I have to imagine this is like Pakunoda's theme or something. I don't really know, but fantastic.
Yeah,
I really loved it.
Typically, for a scene like this to really work for me, I need to be like really immersed in like the moment that it's trying to convey. And oftentimes with anime, especially, obviously, like the soundtrack plays a massive part in kind of bringing that immersion to the table. And I think the track that they chose to play here was very beautiful, and like it gives a very like serene kind of feeling, which is it kind of encapsulates what Pakunoda's probably thinking back on the past and just like everything they've been through, and how she obviously doesn't want to lose Crollo like that. So I thought it was a very well done scene.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed by that. It's so simple on paper, but that music, it just sold the whole thing. It made it work.
Absolutely. Definitely one of the benefits of just the anime format in general is getting to have moments like that.
Yeah. And it all caps off with her really resolving herself, locking in her decision to keep Crollo alive at any cost. She knows that the spider needs him to carry on. Even if it means that she has to technically betray the spider to make this happen.
Yep. Which they definitely tell you that that's what she's doing. This is a betrayal of the spiders. This is
yes,
not what Crollo would want necessarily.
Yep. And that's that episode. So it's a weird one. It is a very weird one because, again, technically not a lot happens. Not a lot of chapters are adapted here. But the presentation is interesting enough that it kept me engaged. And it at least, it wasn't like immersion breaking by any means. I actually thought it kind of enhanced what the messaging of what is happening is, I thought it worked pretty well. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Because on paper, this shouldn't really work.
No, it really shouldn't. And I feel like there's been many episodes already that we've seen where, like, they attempt to do something like this for like a very dialogue heavy episode, right? And then it's just not the most interesting thing in the world. I think one of the episodes, again, like 2 weeks ago when we covered that batch, like it had one of the episodes like that was kind of, it was fine, but it wasn't anything like crazy. I don't think me or you particularly loved that episode, right? But here, like, I mean, I'm not gonna say I loved the episode. It wasn't like, anything groundbreaking, but I was thoroughly engaged throughout the majority of it. And I guess a lot of that can just speak to the writing in general, what that's presenting, because I just really like how this plot point is set up, right? But the anime did a good enough job of just like keeping me like immersed in the moment and immersed within Pakunoda's mind. And for it to accomplish that for the time of which this was released, especially, I'm pretty impressed by how it was able to do that. So, I think this was a good episode for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And Pakunoda is a character that I really enjoy, and to see this version of the anime give her like basically a whole episode to herself and being in her head, I think is a really inspired and unique choice that I appreciate. The one counter argument I will give, this isn't my own opinion, but I can see others feeling that this is kind of defeating the purpose of the portrayal of her in both the manga and 2011, where it's all subtle. This is kind of just spelling it out for us. It's showing, or how's it go? Telling rather than showing, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, it's... The good thing is we have both. We have 2011 and this, so we have two versions of it. You get both.
Yeah, you can
whatever you prefer.
It's a neat situation where we can kind of see like both timelines of adapting something like this were kind of done, right? So we can kind of see the end result of both. And I think it's interesting that like either way you do it, I think, can work for the average person. Because like I like both.
Yeah.
So like it's just a neat thing, I think. But I could definitely see why, some may, prefer how like, the manga in 2011 does it a lot more subtly. But I guess my counter argument to that as well would be like the way they went about presenting, just like kind of spelling it all out for you here in this adaptation. It kind of helps showcase kind of like the messiness of Pakunoda's mind and how like her mind literally races through every single possibility and rationale to lead to that result, right? And I think that just works really well for characterizing Pakunoda, and I think that's a good enough reason to do it, considering what becomes of Pakunoda here in the next few episodes, even, right? I think it lends well to maybe the average watcher getting a bit more attached to Pakunoda as a result, just kind of being able to kind of live in her mind for a little longer than you would otherwise. So I'd like to think there was some intentionality behind how this episode was structured then.
I agree. You know what it reminds me of, actually? It's very reminiscent of the final 2 episodes of Evangelion.
Oh,
where
yeah.
we're just in Shinji's head. Yeah.
It's not
like
not
that.
quite to that same level, I would say, obviously.
No,
but like
no.
it's certainly similar to that, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 67. Now that brings us to episode 68. Dispute, breakup, swinging fist.
That's a very fitting title.
Definitely. And yeah, a very aptly named title, because that is certainly what this is about. This is about the troop infighting, not coming to a consensus on what the hell they should be doing right now.
Yeah, it's almost like Pakunoda was kind of onto something there.
Yeah, so what happens when Crollo's gone. So we begin with Paku just being quiet. She's not saying a word right now. She wouldn't dare. As the final group from the troop comes in, which is it's like Finks, Phaeton, and Shalmark.
Yep.
Who all end up being on the opposing side, actually. I just realized.
That's wow.
It's funny. So they get them up to speed, and I like how Finks he doesn't like react, like he's not we will be a reactive person shortly, but at least for now he's taking it pretty chill. Like our leader got kidnapped, all this shit went down, and he's just like, all right, well, damn.
Yeah. Well, let's figure this shit out, I guess.
Let's go. And Nobunaga is the one kind of losing his cool here. He's trying to get everybody to see like the severity of the situation. Like, guys, Crollo is gone. Do you guys not understand how big of a problem this is? And our crew that just came in is really not seeing the big deal. They're kind of just like, well, I mean, this puts us at an advantage. We have the chain user and his friends pretty much in the palm of our hands right now. And Crollo is the thing we have to lose to make it happen. And whether Finks really feels that harshly about it, I don't know. I don't entirely buy it. But he's at least outwardly making it seem like that's the case, where he will just kind of throw Crollo's life away to make this happen.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to read into Finks' mind specifically, and I don't know if that's just because of his demeanor or otherwise, but it's something I've really come to realize about Finks' character. He's just an incredibly hard one to read. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you can never really predict him. So we then, shortly after, cut to the car now with an interesting crew of Leorio, Melody, Kurapika, and Crollo.
Yeah, never see those four in the same place again.
Highly unlikely. Crollo looks over to Kurapika and is just like, I didn't think the chain user would be a woman.
What do you mean by that, Crollo?
Think again. I'm a femboy.
Yeah. 99 special.
Yeah. So got normal Kurapika back without the disguise, but he is still in a skirt. So
Yeah.
there you go for all the.
He's still dressed like a woman, you know. But...
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Kurlo, this whole scene, it's classic. Kurlo is just completely egging him on, no selling the fact that he is kidnapped and his life is in danger. It's pretty badass.
This is like the ultimate form of rage bait, where like you're not even really
Yeah.
meaning to. You're just kind of naturally doing it.
That's the coolest thing, because Kurlo's saying all this shit, acting nonchalant, and Melody is like, this is real.
Yeah, like he means every single word that he's saying.
Yeah.
Like,
And I don't blame him for being rage baited, man. That would piss me the hell off too. I did all that shit, and you're gonna be like this about it? Oh my god.
yeah, I think that the moment that was really starting to break Karapika, and like if I was hearing this in front of me, I'd be crashing out too. Where he's just like, yeah, the prophecy didn't really say anything about this.
Yeah.
You know, that means this is like insignificant. Like, this is an afternoon coffee break for me, this excursion. Yep. I would be so mad at Karapika's shoes. And rightfully so, he also feels the same way, and that's when we get to the swinging fist part of this episode.
Yes. He beats the shit out of Krollo, blood all over the car, and Leorio has to pull over at this point and just stop his fist, because he's like, if you kill him, man, we're fucked.
If you kill him, I'll kill you.
I'll kill you, yeah. Goes hard. Yeah, and he literally says he's baiting you.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I love everything about this scene. And the way it's presented too. There's a lot of really cool directional moments in this scene as well. Where like you'll have some dialogue talking, you'll see like it'll be Karapika's face that you're being shown like his reaction to, but you see it in the like, reflection of the window behind Krollo. Little things like that. I think they made some really good choices for how to present this entire dilemma here.
Yeah, it's very nice. So while they're parked here, Karapika is talking to Melody about, what is this all that's real? And she's like, yep, he hasn't said a lie yet. And she ends up reading a little too close. We got this really weird shot of Krollo, by the way, during this. I don't even know how to describe his face. It looks really fucking weird. But Melody eventually is just like, I don't want to listen to either of your heartbeats right now. This is too much.
I totally
Poor
get
Melody.
it. You have Karapika with just like probably just the pure embodiment of like rage and anger and sadness, and then Krollo is. And Melody literally says like it's not that he believes he won't die; it's that he's accepted death like a long time ago. Like he's fine with it. He's at peace with it, and that's scary.
Yeah. And this prompts Karapika to ask the cutting question of, what are you? And no response. We get this cool shot where it's completely silent. We just, what's up?
No, he did say response. That's why I was trying to cut you. He said a spider.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah.
But I mean, either way, it's kind of a non-answer to Karapika, so that's kind of telling in of itself.
It's not an answer, yeah. But after he says that, we pan out from the car, and it's just completely silent as the windshield wipers just go back and forth for a couple seconds. Very cool. I liked that a lot. So they continue driving, and Carlo's just asking a bunch of questions to Karapika. Like, is that the chain used? Or, well, actually...
No, it was Karapika asking Krollo the question.
Yeah, he asked if you were the leader back whenever the Scarlet Eyes thing happened.
Yeah. That's when he threw
answer.
And then that's when he throws the judgment chain. He's really crashing out at this point.
Yeah, he's pissed. Throws it at his head, by the way, which would do nothing. But right on. So yeah, Carlo asks, like, is that the chain used to kill Uvo? And did Uvo have any last words? Karapika says he doesn't remember, but he does.
Yeah, this is the scene where like it shows like his eyes like in the windshield, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, super cool. So yeah, he's just not gonna talk. No reason, nothing to say, and that pisses Karapika off bad. What can you do?
No, yeah, these guys are just Yeah, they're polar opposite. Well, it's so funny because I say they polar opposites, but they're really not. They're like the same kind of character in a way, in a
Two
weird
sides of the
twisted
same
way.
coin.
Yeah. That's what I love about them though. It's easily I think my favorite dynamic in the entire series. Just
Oh
those
yeah,
two,
I love it.
those two's relationship in general, despite them not being close at all, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. So Karapika then takes Krollo's phone and calls. Who is it first? Finks.
Yeah, I gotta say that was a
Yeah, yeah.
weird transition. I thought though, where it's like Karapika got like fed up, he like pulled the chain back, and you have like a flash of green, just like a green box, and then it transitions to Karapika texting on the phone.
Yeah, I didn't really know what they were going for there, but
I
it was.
It was interesting, to say the least. Yeah, like they tried to get us to think he did something to Crollo, I guess, but like it happened really fast, so it didn't really work. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. And then we cut to Miluki drinking sake, of course, the natural thing to cut to.
My favorite part about this is he was asking, "What should I eat for dinner?" And he already ate dinner. It looks like so.
Love it.
Never change, Miluki. Never change.
Never change. So back with the rest of the troop, they're discussing when Finks gets the phone call. They talk for a while, and Karapika's giving demands. It's don't harm the hostages. Don't. What are the other ones? Hold on, I'm getting there.
If I follow my orders, if you don't, I'll kill your leader immediately. You can't pursue us. You can't harm the hostages.
Okay. And put Pakunoda on the phone.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
And he tries to ask him a question before he does that, though. But yeah.
Yeah.
Karapika really doesn't like Finks. That's the funniest part about the rest of this episode, I think.
Yeah. So Finks then asks a question about the hostages, if they had already broken some bones beforehand. And then Karapika is like, okay, well then negotiations are done here, and then hangs up the phone.
And then he immediately calls back. After like a moment of silence. He's like, "Sorry, I lied."
Yeah. It's so good.
I going back to this like Finks' demeanor, how he's just like a really like chill, like nonchalant dude when it comes to like even just like Crollo being captured. It's so funny to see that break immediately under Karapika's just like demands. It's
Yeah.
it makes for a very funny like lighthearted bit amongst the chaos happening.
Yeah, I love this scene a lot. It's so funny. And then they all punch him over the head because he's a dumbass. So, and the phone gets passed to Paku, and he says nobody can listen. So Pakunoda goes away and gets rid of like some kind of wiretap that Phaeton had set up.
I don't know how he had that set up already, but yeah, I'll believe it, I guess.
Yeah. Then she walks far, very, very far.
I mean, only she can listen to it per his demands.
Yeah.
So, she's complying.
She sure is. So, the gist of it here is that Karapika knows that Pakunoda knows basically everything. So he is completely forbidding any form of communication, no eye contact even, nothing. Just go away. Get the hell out of there.
Man.
And, while Paku's considering the possibilities of this, we just get flashes of memories she's seen of Karapika and realizing that, like, despite the fact that we have his friends in captivity, I think he will kill Crollo. It does, like, she believes at least that she doesn't even really care about Gon and Kilowa's lives at this point. This is a purely transactional deal.
And I mean, that's a fair read of Karapika in general, even without even without knowing anything about him, just like from the troops' perspective, I think, right? Like, this is a man who very obviously has a deep, burning hatred for the troop in general. That, like, surely there's, I would think, anyways, from the perspective of the troop, surely there's a tipping point with him, like where, like, even like he could reach a point where he just kills him straight up. He's had enough, stops thinking about going to
Yeah.
Killua, which obviously up to this point we've seen that side of Kurapika where like he could very easily reach that point if he's not, if he doesn't get some sense talked into him.
Absolutely. That's why Leorio's there, though, thankfully.
Yeah.
But in some sense, I truly do believe Paku is right.
Yeah.
I really do think there could reach a point. I'm not saying at this very moment, but if this carried on long enough, I think he could just forget about going in Killua for the sake of this happening.
Yeah, and going back to like the talk that we had earlier for the last episode about like the subtlety of delivering this message, where like I'm sure like the manga especially and even 2011 probably kept this like a lot more like subtle of a thing. Like, obviously Pakunoda is thinking Kurapika's gonna kill Crollo, but they probably don't spell it out as much as this episode did. But I'd like to think that even by doing that, you're kind of like planting that like little like seedling in like the viewer's head of this episode that like maybe Crollo does end up dying. It kind of like builds that suspense up a little bit for this encounter that's being set up with Pakunoda and just the hostage situation in general. And so it makes for an interesting direction of this plot. And again, I'm really liking how they're delivering it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought that was this whole exchange was really well done, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
So it caps off with Kurapika saying to go and give the phone back to somebody else except the guy that I talked to originally. It's very funny. So she goes and gives it to Nobunaga, and Kurapika explains what he can of the situation to him, just about that, Paku's going to leave without saying a word, and you will not follow her. Just go back to the hideout and chill.
Yep. Go back to the hideout, give the phone back to Paku. I'll arrange an extra phone. If I find out that any of you are missing, I'll kill.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll kill. Pretty much.
Yeah, I'll kill. And while that's happening, by the way, we see a really depressing scene of the ambulance taking away Squallow's body as the dogs watch on. Oh.
Heartbreaking.
Fuck.
I hate that so much. Why did they have to show me that, man?
I know. You should have just left the eyes at the hotel, man. God damn it, Squallow. Fuck.
Hindsight's 2020, but it doesn't make me any less depressed about it.
I know. So, Pakunoda gets the phone back, and Kurapika just tells her to be there at the meeting spot by 8 p.m. So it's only about an hour from where we're at.
Not a lot of time.
Yeah, so she better haul ass. And then, meanwhile, Crollo's thinking to himself the exact opposite of what Paku is thinking. But he believes he knows Kurapika a little better at this point, and he thinks that his life really isn't in danger. He will choose his friends over killing him, no matter what.
Yeah, that kind of got confirmed for him when, like, obviously, like, he had the judgment chain at his head, and he pulled back. Yeah. Like, he's like, okay, so he won't kill me that easily. He does care about the going and kill about the hostages, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so interesting. Again, I love just like how they cut straight away to this, where it's like, Crollo's like, come on, Pakunoda, like, bring everyone along. Like, I know you'll make the right decision, and then no, he doesn't know Pakunoda like that, because she is not doing that at all.
Nope. She's doing the exact opposite. So she leaves without a word, without eye contact. She's out the door, and all she's thinking about is the fact that she is doing this for the good of the spider and for Crollo.
Mm-hmm. And again, that line of like, yeah, I'm betraying the spiders by doing this, but
yeah.
I didn't forget. Like, this is for the whole of the spiders.
Yeah. So after that, the infighting starts. Finks and company try to walk out the door with her. Nobunaga's like, "Are you guys fucking insane? What are you doing
are you
right
stupid?"
Now? Yeah. Are you stupid? So they just bicker back and forth. It's done really well. I think it's very natural. Like, the people that choose whatever sides. It's pretty. I think it's split. Is it exactly even? Or no? Shizuku was like the tiebreaker.
Shizuku was the tiebreaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Finks, Phaeton, and Shalnark that were about to go follow Paku. Nobunaga says, no, don't do that, and then Machi and Cortopia are with Nobunaga.
Yeah. And Shizuku wants to flip a coin, but they're not all about that right now. Not the time.
No. And then
So
she's like, well, I guess my heart lines more with Nobunaga.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well.
It's for a much more lighthearted reason than the rest. She's just like, I don't want Crowley to die yet.
Yeah, yet. I like how she had to say that specifically. Like, all right.
Yeah. It's just a little too soon.
My favorite part about this, though, is like even after like Shizuku says like she aligns with Nobunaga, Finks is like, man, I'm just working with like a bunch of idiots right now, aren't I? Like,
I know, yeah. He's really just in his own head right now, up his own ass, I should say, honestly.
It's so funny because like he kind of like subconsciously made himself the leader of this group, like in his own mind. I feel like, which is why, like,
honestly, yeah,
yeah,
you can definitely read that out of this.
Just his
Very
mannerism as
himself
soon as he
here.
rolled up to the hotel, like he kind of just took that on immediately. I thought
He took charge.
thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
And
That says a lot about him.
I think the voice direction of this adaptation also helped a lot with kind of presenting that as well. It brought that to the forefront in my mind, at least. So, good on the voice acting for Finks specifically.
Yeah, definitely. Great voice acting. So, Finks and Nobunaga are about to throw down, but Shizuku knocks Nobunaga out.
For Nobunaga.
And just says no real fighting. And Finks is like, oh, you agreed with him.
To be fair, Nobunaga pulled out the N, like, immediately. He was ready to...
Oh, yeah, he was ready, bro. He was ready. There's also this little scene. I didn't know how to exactly interpret it, but it's Gon notices Machi's thread is like extended like out towards them. So I don't know if that's implying that Machi was gonna like help Nobunaga fight or something else. I don't really know.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and I'm not sure if that'll ever be explained, but I thought that was interesting. And it would certainly make sense and kind of lead more into the whole infighting thing happening. Like, everybody is showcasing that everybody is ready to just fall apart completely without Crollo there. Again, just a matter of minutes after it happening too. So it's just
that's funny. Like Finks is just proving that point by doing what he's doing right now.
Yeah,
whether he realizes it or not, which he doesn't.
I mean, everybody's kind of proving it to a degree. Even like the ones that are really not speaking up on the matter, like Hortopi or Shizuku, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're lost. They don't know what to do. Like they're not gonna say anything. Yeah.
Their coin flip rule isn't even working here. They were about to fucking fight each other. That's not how you want to be as a team.
No, and then even with the people who are trying to take charge, like Nobunaga, like Finks, like they're falling apart in a completely different way. They're not thinking straight.
Yeah. So, following this, Shalnark gets a call, actually, but Finks answers it, because of course he does. And immediately Kurapika knows the voice, and he's like, well, I guess this would have happened regardless of who answered, but he tells them to put the hostages on the phone.
He literally says hello, and then he's like, give it to the two hostages right now.
Yeah. So, he does that.
It makes up like the rubbery noise, too, also, as he's like gripping the phone. I thought that was...
Yeah, and then it does it again whenever he puts the phone up to Kilo's ear. And he's like, you got a call from Mom. So, yeah, Killua just kind of gives the rundown of what's going on. Like, they are still there for now, and they're arguing about whether or not to go after Pakunoda. Mm-hmm. Valuable information.
Yeah.
And that pisses Finks off a lot. And Kurapika just says that, just so you know, Pakunoda did exactly what I did, or exactly what I said, and your leader will die if you guys do not comply.
Yeah, so don't follow her. Go back to your base. I'll be in touch, basically. Bye.
Yep. I love it, and yeah, that makes Finks, like, crash out.
Yeah, like, he's, like, actually about to crush the phone. Like,
yeah, and Shalnark's like, please don't break that. That's my whole ability right there.
Yeah, that's literally my entire Nen ability in your hands. But again, that's like underrated moment of this episode for sure. I would say, like, yeah, Finks is just great here. Like, it really,
Yeah.
he is the perfect showcase of the troop falling apart without Crollo, in my eyes.
Yeah. It can like all be traced to him as the focal point, at least. Like obviously everybody there is kind of equal blame in making this happen, but he is certainly a driving force, him and Nobunaga.
Yeah, and again, not even to say that Finks really is like the main, the person of the troop at this point without Crollo. It's funny to just see that message be delivered through him as a vessel, I think. And
Yeah.
I think it makes it doubly entertaining because he really wasn't used at all for like the entire rest of this arc. So, but to put him in the spotlight now makes it even more like apparent because like, our focus hasn't been on him. So the moment he's thrust into the spotlight, now we as the viewer are kind of paying more attention to him inherently. And so that helps deliver that message across, which I think is really smart.
Absolutely, yeah. I love how that scene was handled. Super well done. I just love the spiders, man. What an amazing villain group. Like they're just next level. Nobody's done it like the troop.
So many layers, so many moving parts, and so many interesting characters all around. It's definitely a highlight of this entire series.
Speaking of interesting characters, we cut now to the other members of the troop that stayed at the hideout. They're just kind of talking about what they now know is the situation. Just waiting on the other members to get back. And Hisoka he's pondering, I'll say. He's considering his options. Because obviously his end goal is to fight Crollo. And Crollo is in dire straits right now. And he doesn't really know what he wants to do in this situation.
No, because he's like, this is like literally the perfect chance to go and fight him. But if I leave, like he could just die.
Yeah. Yep.
That's kind of the issue right now.
Yeah. So he calls for the help of a friend. He calls for Ilumi, who simply says, "Yeah, I've known you a little longer than Crollo, so I guess I'll help you out here."
Which I probably should have been more aware of that wording, like already. But I found it interesting. The first thought that came to my mind was like, I always thought that like Ilumi joining like the Phantom Troop later on in Succession War was like kind of a random thing to happen, aside from like Kaluto being a part of the troop, right? But the fact that like Ilumi did like was seemingly in touch with Crollo for like some amount of time, before any of this went down, I thought was just kind of interesting. So like maybe there was some history there between the two.
Surely, yeah. I expect we'll learn more about that. Just I hope at least. I don't know. I don't know what Togashi wants to do with Ilumi. I really have no guesses.
No, ever since he had him join the troop, I don't know what this character's doing anymore. Like
yeah, I have no idea.
There's obviously a plan, but I cannot figure it out for the life of me.
Nope. No idea. So then we end the episode with Pakunoda on her way to the drop-off point. Just kind of, I guess, sweating a little bit.
Taking some detours, though. Is she standing on, like, a highway sign right now?
Yeah, I don't know why she's doing that, but whatever.
I don't know how you got there, but, like, obviously you're taking some shortcuts of some kind.
I don't know if she really has, like, enhanced jumping capabilities. I don't think that's part of her...
well, was she a part of the people that were, like, running on top of the crowd a few episodes ago? When they were, like, going to the hotel? She might have.
They didn't show her doing it, but she was with that group.
Much to think about.
Much to think about. But that's that. That's episode 68. That was a good one. I actually really liked that one.
Yeah, that was a very good episode, I thought. Even more engaging than the last one. Everything to do with the troop infighting was a lot of fun. Diving into the whole Crollo Kurapika dynamic for the first time of those two being on screen together. This adaptation was really really cool. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And a really good way to kind of start segueing into this final act of the arc that we're about to head into.
Yeah, very good episode. Had me engaged the whole way through. I love the Pakunoda focus. I love the focus on the troop as a whole. Every time I get to this part of Yorknew City, I'm always just blown away at how well the troop is written. It's just such a compelling antagonist group that truly no other shonen manga has ever done to this level before. Many have tried, but nobody has gotten anywhere close to the highs that the troop get.
Absolutely
It's just
not.
so good.
Yeah. And then once again, there's obviously some exceptions throughout, both of these episodes even.
Yeah.
But like, I think that the OVAs so far continue to impress me with how, like, surprisingly, like, good some of the directorial choices are, for some of these scenes, and just the animation as a whole. They do some really creative stuff, like even with, like, probably a very limited budget, all things considered, considering it is an OVA series, right? It wasn't televised. But yeah, I just wanted to shout that out as well, because it hasn't really dipped in quality at all since we started the OVA's coverage.
Yeah, it's very in line with the rest of the series. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even... If they didn't change the opening and stuff, I would never even know that this wasn't part of the TV run.
Yeah, yeah. It's thoroughly surprising. And I want to give credit where credit is due there, considering, we, even within Yorknew in the televised run, we had some issues with, a lot of those things kind of cropping up pretty consistently.
Yeah.
But I haven't really noticed that as much here. And when, we do see the weird stuff like the blue orb, machi string stuff, or just little things like that, it's nothing too bad that would, like, really detract from the episode in my eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great batch. Obviously great content being adapted at this point, and all we have left now is the conclusion. So
Yeah.
Great stuff lies ahead. I can't wait to see how they do the final scenes of this arc.
Mm-hmm. I have really high hopes now, considering the quality of these episodes that we've been watching, and especially with the Pakunoda focus and them really leaning into that and doing a good job focusing on her. I have pretty high hopes for what we're about to see in these upcoming last 2 episodes of Yorknew.
Yeah, I expect her death scene to be a slam dunk. I think they're gonna nail it.
Yeah.
At least I hope.
Yeah, here's hoping. Obviously, 99 has kind of disappointed us before on some of these big moments, but
yeah, that's actually extremely true.
but if they can dunk on this one, it'll be a good time. So tune back next week to hopefully see that.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, I think we're ready to go ahead and see what you guys had to say about these episodes.
Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, now it's time to read what you guys have to say about Hunter x Hunter 1999, episodes 67 and 68. Sure, it'll be a good one to discuss today. Usual reminder, if you want to get in on the fun discussing any given topic week to week, make sure you keep an eye out for the YouTube community posts, our call-out posts on Twitter and Bluesky, and of course, you could always email us your thoughts, if you so please, at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com. So, starting off today with Edokava's comment. Episode 67. This time, the sound effects felt off, and Pakunoda's reflections were too slow. The interaction between Nobunaga and the kids was funny, but overall, this episode wasn't the best. I mean, I'm not going to say it was like a masterpiece or anything, but
No.
I think it wasn't that bad of a time. Like, I think, in my humble opinion, maybe a little nitpicky for this episode specifically, but I thought it was fine.
And yeah, I do see what you're saying about the sound effects, at least. I mean, at this point, I've kind of just stopped mentioning the sound effects because we've talked about the sound effects enough. I think you guys understand at this point.
Yeah.
They are pretty outdated, even for the time. I mean, they're very repetitive, and they just sound old.
Yeah. That's the thing. They just sound old, but like it's been such a constant thing throughout this entire series that I've just kind of gotten used to it, I think, and it's kind of easier for me to look past, aside from like the moments where it really doesn't make sense. It's like episode 68 with like Finks gripping the phone and it's making that like weird rubbery balloon noise, right? But obviously that's a bit of an issue, but like ultimately it's you get used to it. That's in my eyes, anyways. But yeah, moving on to his episode 68 thoughts. This episode was almost perfect. Crollo rage baiting is priceless, and the whole scene in the car was so good. When we said we are the same after Kurapika explained what happened to his clan, it really felt like foreshadowing for the Succession War. Thinks his epic fail on the phone was funnier in 2011, but the confrontation with Nobunaga afterwards was great, and Hisoka at the end was just a cherry on top. Yeah, 100% agree. I think this episode was really, really good.
Yep, totally agree. All right, next. Now this I couldn't believe. If you guys have been listening for a long time, this is a name you will probably remember, hopefully. This is a comment from Rex George Rodriguez, who is our first ever commenter. Even before our friends even commented on a video, this guy was here. Rex George Rodriguez, our first listener, makes his long-awaited return here.
So good to see you for a really random batch of episodes, I think, but I couldn't be happier for you to be back. Like that's so awesome to see.
Yes, welcome back. I can tell Hunter x Hunter fever is starting to take some people over again. I got Shirakage back in the comment section as well. We got the old crew coming back around.
We've noticed some returning faces where our eyes are open right now. There's some hype in the air.
Yeah. So anyways, Rex says, episode 67, I've seen comments pointed out that the sound effects in this version aren't the strongest, and yeah, I agree, but I can let it slide since it's a product of the 90s.
Bingo.
Yes, but 90s sound effects were better than that, I will have to say. I mean, we had One Piece at literally the same year that this anime started, and I think the sound effects, at least for the time, I don't know if Toei should still be using them now, but
no.
At the time, those One Piece sound effects sounded great. And better than what we have in this entire series.
They're okay nowadays if they're not spamming them back to back to back, aka Lucci versus Zoro fight.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but it is.
You know. What really stood out to me was how well they handled the tension during the blackout scene. For me, it actually feels more intense than the 2011 version because they let the moments breathe instead of cutting through everything really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's two different interpretations. I like 2011 for different reasons because it feels so fast. It's portraying it how it happened. I mean, that's a really fast exchange. So, two different versions. We have both, so that's the cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even Nobunaga shouting after the knife was thrown felt genuinely scary. Pakunoda's internal monologue dragged a bit, but the thinking track itself was solid and fit the atmosphere well. Yes. Plus, there's an additional scene that isn't even in the manga where Kurapika is shown jumping in and capturing Chrollo with his chains, making the scenario clearer. Yeah.
I guess that is I didn't even know that was an anime original thing. Obviously, if you guys haven't already figured out, my history with the manga is that it's pretty non-existent. So I don't really know how a lot of these scenes happen within the manga itself, or the earlier chapters at least, pre-Succession War. But that's kind of cool, and I like that. Even though that's an anime original, seemingly, it fits in well with Pakunoda's ability, in that she's able to see the past of an object. So it fits well within what's happening, anyways, right? That we can see that scene actually take place.
Yeah. Then episode 68. Like I was saying before, I felt the tension in the car scene way more here than in 2011. Version, especially when Kurapika keeps punching Chrollo. I think a lot of that comes down to the art style, since it looks rougher and grittier overall. Quick side note, Kurapika's disguise in this version is way more obvious than in 2011. The outfit is more feminine and flashy, and they really lean into it by focusing on him wiping off the lipstick, which was honestly kind of funny. Finks and Killua's antics also lasted longer in this version and added some laughs without killing the tension. Totally, yeah, I have to agree. There was some really good tension breaker moments, but they still, even though the tension did get broken, it got right back to it immediately, and it didn't halt the momentum of the tension, which I thought was really impressive, actually.
Yeah,
it's a hard line to walk.
For the scenario of which this is happening into, I think it's really impressive that you can kind of pull the general audience back into that plot line as easily as you can, which is a testament to Tagashi's writing more than anything. But I think the anime really, delivered on that as well.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to part 1 of Insert Names Comment. I'm sure he's gonna have a lot to say about these episodes. I can feel it. Episode 5. So, yeah, I guess there is one more quality drop before the finale. Altogether, a very weird episode marked by a downright dizzying level of panning shots and the arrival of the sworn enemy of the 1999 darkness, the nebulous edgelights.
Okay, yeah, those green edge lights were definitely very present in this episode.
They were. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Yeah, I mean, they were there. They were very upfront. I'll continue reading your thoughts on this before saying anything else. This episode just generally feels off. We have a return of the up-close zoom-in-the-face shot composition we got in Heaven's Arena, except now, instead of keeping the camera fully still the whole arc, it appears to be gliding across the screen like a DVD logo hunting for corners. Dear God, stop panning all over the place. Even without that, things just look a little cheap. The Gyo effect returns, and I'm still not a fan, and even Machi, whose threads have by and large been some of the best looking Nen effects in the series, feels like a major step down. The way they try to disguise her ability with pop-in moments of blue dots while potentially creative just doesn't work, in my opinion, at all. I really wish 1999 had the forethought to design some more refined Nen visuals.
I get it. I mean, I pointed
Yeah.
out the same thing about the threads, so yeah, I understand.
No, I understand completely, for sure. And that's before we get to the scene in the dark. Come on, 1999, if you're going to be putting shadows all over the place, surely you should be able to handle a scene with actual darkness, right? Right? The designs of the characters even look off, like it's almost like they gave Machi pronounced lipstick only in that scene. I'll have to look back to see what you mean on that one. I honestly didn't notice that. The darkness diffuses the action, and in general, the same shot problems that plague the rest of the episode remain. The one visual choice I think helps is that for some reason, Killua's punches and kicks generate flashes of light, which makes me feel conflicted, as it's the only visual choice that helps actually present the scene, even if it makes no sense diegetically. Killua getting out of the strings was the only action that felt clean and good, but 1999 Darkness even made that a bit harder to make out. I see your issues with it, for sure. I guess I just didn't really mind it because like it's supposed to be like hard to see, so like I kind of get immersed in that perspective, in that like frame of mind, I guess. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I kind of liked it. I thought the dark scenes looked pretty good, to be honest. I don't know. Darkness, at least like actual real natural darkness, is a very hard thing to get right in animation. I thought they did a fine job. I don't know.
Certainly for the time, at the very least, I would think.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a very easy thing to mess up for most anime back then, like early 2000s, right?
Yeah. This would be, I think, 2001 at this point.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe even 2002.
In any case, though, like, yeah, like, I don't know. I thought it looked fine. Like, it certainly wasn't perfect. I'll give you that much, for sure. Like, I understand your point of view, 100%. I just maybe think you're being slightly harsh on it, but, you know, all about preference at the end of the day, I guess. The sound effects of this episode are 1999 sounds at its worst. Though it is nice to know that the rubber body is genetic to the Zoldyck family, as both Killua and Ilumi have squeaked for us on screen now. Well, don't forget, Finks has that now too, as of the next episode. But
His hands do, or at least the phone,
yeah,
I suppose.
yeah, maybe it's the phone actually. I'm not a fan of this Kurapika outfit, mostly because the colors seem off and there's just something wrong about his hair. No, you just hate woman. Just say it, man.
Yeah, for real. Come on, man.
I'm joking, by the way, if any of you didn't catch
I'm
up
not.
on that. Oh, okay.
Fuck you, man. Get out of our community.
You heard the man. I can't understand why the memory flashback was given such a bland presentation here. I mean, you already had an aesthetic for her memory flashes that they used in this OVA. Why change it? It was good, too. That's a good point, actually, because like it was like the CRT thing from a few episodes ago, right?
They just did that in the last patch, yeah.
Maybe they thought doing it again would kind of devalue it, which is not the worst take ever, I suppose, but it is interesting that they just didn't go with anything like that, even.
Why not be consistent? That is very strange.
I don't know. Yeah, that's something interesting to think about, though. Ooh, the nebulous light refraction green lines are taking over. What have you done with the shadows? Have they been defeated by the nebulous light? All hail the corner lights vanquisher of the great encroaching darkness, coming for the souls of our beloved characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope I did that part of your comment justice. I could tell you wanted some emphasis
good.
on that. The translucent Paku scene has great music, but doesn't look great.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's fair.
The
That said,
music, it carries.
yeah. That said, hold the presses. The only time psychometry is used, as the name would imply, is in 1999. Ignore all my criticism, except the shadows. Those are a threat to human decency. This adaptation is peak.
Let's go. You heard
Big
it from first.
big psychometry fan over here. Obviously.
It continues and says, Episode 6 brings a scene with an interesting focus on Kurapika's lips. Yeah. That is true. It was well animated, though. Def Moore, 1999 Kurapika, secretly a girl. Fuel. I cannot stress this enough. Something about this Kurapika design just irks me, and I have yet to figure it out. Hopefully someone else can put it into words.
Oh, we already said it, man. We already said it.
Yeah.
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 He's right. Kurapika punching Crollo just looks hokey. Maybe it's the sounds not helping, but it just doesn't feel fluid at all. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know, man. You're being harsh this week.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like the punching scenes were anything phenomenal, and like honestly, maybe it was like partially the camera work too, because like framed it a little weird, where like you weren't really seeing Kurapika actually throw the punches for the most part. But like I don't know, like it got the point across just fine. I thought it was effective enough. Sounds aside, at least, because I do understand that, obviously.
But honestly, even in that moment, they did at least not repeat the same hit sound effect every time. They did vary it, like every other hit.
Yeah, we got to give a little bit of credit where credit's due.
Yeah,
you know, they
that's better.
For how
that's improvement.
For how lazy they get with repeating a lot of weird sound effects for things, like they didn't really do it there. You know, back to back to back. So
yeah,
something.
That's massive improvement. Think about Gon versus Hisoka, where they had 2 sound effects on loop for the entire fight. Massive improvement.
Truly.
They really spammed N in this batch. They sure did.
Yeah.
It looks fine the first time, but the repeated use just makes it look tacky. I do agree with that, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a lot of impact the first time it's used. I mean, the first time we see it is not even in the OVA. You know, it's back whenever they got kidnapped the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But having the same exact N activation scene like twice in close succession, yeah, it does kind of devalue it a little. I wish there was some, varied approach to how they portrayed it.
Yeah.
But whatever.
I agree.
They were probably really proud of it. Probably the only distinct 99 edition I really enjoyed this batch was seeing Miluki. Nice to see him. He seems to be doing well. Good on him for getting out of the house.
Yeah, good on him. Yeah.
True, honestly. That's a great outlook.
He is doing stuff.
I really don't...
I don't think, I'm assuming. I
don't think this 99...
I
really don't think 99 adapted this section that well,
There
and
we
while I try to stick to things about the adaptation itself, there really isn't so much to work off here. But there are some really fun moments from the source here I do love. Actually, I do like the pattern on the stone pillar, and of course, psychometry. Okay. I think it says a lot that Nobu was the second person Paku would give the phone to. Yeah, I took note of that too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
On a first read, it seems she did so because he's not on the kill Kurapika side, which would rule out normal level-headed thinkers like Shalnark, but I do think it provides a valuable insight into the tactical and analytical element we see from Nobu later. Yeah, much later, but yeah, totally. It's almost a reflection of Nobunaga not blinded by the rage and desire to avenge Uvo. It provides an interesting comparison to Kurapika, as both are going through similar arcs. Analytical individuals blinded by rage but still desiring the safe well-being of the respective hostages. Right. And, this is a cool thing that Togashi did in this arc, is the way that Finks is acting is how you would expect Nobunaga to be acting based on what we knew of him in the rest of this arc. Because the entire time, it's so clever, really, in hindsight, because we are introduced to Nobunaga when he's going through like the worst depressive episode of his life. He lost his best friend and he has completely lost himself. He's just this raged out dude who's trying to cling on to any little reminder of his friend, even trying to recruit this one kid that just like kind of reminds him of Uvo. And then, we get to the moment where things actually matter and the life of his leader, his friend, is in their hands, and we see him control himself, collect himself, and become the Nobunaga that he probably is all the time.
It's
really cool.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I didn't really think about that aspect of it really until now, but I think it makes a lot of sense and very much is written in a way that Togashi is very clearly proficient in. I think it's just a really creative way to kind of explore the idea that the Nobunaga that we were seeing before wasn't like really himself. He was controlled by emotions a lot the same way that Kurapika is currently being controlled by his emotions too.
Right. Yeah, very similar. I also just love the scene where they smell blood on Uvo while he's chumming it up with them.
Oh, I think you mean Nobunaga, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Oh, I did want to mention that. Yeah, I liked that scene. It's because it's Kilo and Gon both realize like, oh, this guy just killed somebody like just now.
Yeah.
And Kilo was able to tell. I mean, because he's an assassin, he's just like, he specifically points out he just killed someone, and Gon is just like, oh, I smell blood, because he has a good nose. Mm-hmm. I liked it. It was a cool like quick way to show their little traits. I also do think these episodes do telegraph the upcoming 2 episodes better than the equivalent stuff in 2011. In 99, they are pretty clear that Pakunoda is going to take the forefront here and give her some more screen time. Yeah, totally. I struggle to talk about this without saying too much, but even if I don't like what they did here specifically, I could see people liking it in concert with the later stuff.
Oh, that
and
gives
I have
me hope.
seen Yeah, definitely. And I have seen plenty of media editing it together in a more flattering way than is presented here over the years. But I look forward to next week and what I and many others consider to be the end of 99. What is wrong with Greed Island?
Yeah, I'm so curious, dude.
You got me scared now, man.
Those might be the best episodes on this podcast when we get there. That'll be fun.
And finally getting to watch the last of the big moments I wanted to see y'all's reaction to. Ooh, okay, let's go. I'm excited.
We're cooking next week. It'll be fun. Oh my gosh.
I can't wait.
Yeah, you gave me...
as always, insert name.
Thank you. Yeah, we were talking earlier about how like I'm trying to be more like skeptical going into like the the big moments upcoming, considering how much we've been let down before. But hearing stuff like this gets me, my hope a little bit more reignited. Like, okay, maybe my expectations are high for a reason. Yeah. Thank you. Insert name as per usual. Last comment for the day, part 1 though of this comment is from Magitech. I've always wondered if the Moonchild thing is meant to be an homage to Sailor Moon.
Possible. It's the song that plays on the radio at the beginning.
I would not be surprised. Yeah, could be a coincidence equally, but I guess we'll never know. Probably. Episode 67. Gotta love the relaxing and cozy atmosphere of the hotel, especially contrasted by the outside storm, while the inside is filled with an invisible tension, invisible for everyone except the ones that know. Well put.
True. Yeah.
I'm going to take this chance to say how much I love Cortopi's design. Reminds me a lot of Yu Yu Hakusho because Togashi really makes him look like a yokai.
True, yeah.
Yeah, I can't speak on that. I guess Kaige can, but
Yeah, he does look straight out of like the demon realm.
just this massive hair with one single eye popping out. Male, female, young, old, feels like it could be anything and still fit.
Yeah.
The lights go out and Killua's not beating the allegation of being half cat with those eyes that shine in the dark. Oh yeah, they did kind of shine in the dark, didn't they? Like as soon as the lights went out. I don't know if we touched on that. That was interesting.
Glow in the dark eyes.
I've always loved the sequence. It's one of those where everything happens in just seconds and characters shine through. As for 99 in specific, I do like the facial expressions, particularly the half and half of Gon and Killua when they get caught, as well as the slow down view of the fight step by step. I never realized in 2011 that Killua actually cracked a few of Machi's ribs with a kick. Also, darkness or something. Darkness or something.
True, facts.
From Killua being able to get out of Machi's hold to her being able to catch his claw with her sheer muscles, Killua and Gon perfect sync in total blackness and Nobunaga's quick use of N, and that's without counting the most important part, dramatic lightning reveal. They do, 99 does really like the whole like lightning flashing when a big thing happens.
Yeah, they did that a lot in these episodes, actually.
We probably should have talked about that more because it is kind of funny in retrospect how often they spam that, but it's fine. It's fine enough. Harmless.
Yeah.
I'm still amazed that Kurapika was able to both snatch Crollo and write a letter at the same time, and so should everybody. All right, hold on now. I'm assuming that letter was probably pre-prepared, right?
Yeah, I have to imagine that was ready before.
But it is very funny to imagine him like writing the letter as he's catching Crollo. I love how Nobunaga gives Gon to Shizuku. Here, take this.
Yeah, I love that.
Also note how Shizuku's arms lower a bit when she gets a hold of him. Nice animation detail.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's cool.
I didn't notice that actually, but you know, we love a little bit of effort involved. And here we have the only time we see Pakunoda use psychometry, something that, again, it happened in 2011, but I didn't realize that it was her Nen ability there since it happens so fast. This is a very interesting moment since in the manga it's just mostly a page full of text. Each adaptation had to come with visuals to illustrate and enhance this deductive monologue. While 2011 goes with a bit more visual variety, 99 sticks with a heavy chain motif, very symbolic of how trapped she and the rest of the troop is in this situation. I couldn't agree more. I think it's a really good idea. And so, we get to what for the longest time was the flashback of the spider. Say what you want about 99's love for Sunset, but they're freaking gorgeous. It's still
I loved how it looked.
Yeah, no, I thought that looked great. When they choose to like not, have everything encroached in darkness, as Insert Name likes to put it, they do a really good job with the lighting when they lock in. That is just very rare, obviously. It's still mostly the same, but I like the more upfront the more upfront 99 is with showing the troop members here, with us getting more of a zoom in on their younger selves. Everyone always talks about Uvo's amazing afro, but not nearly as much as Phaeton's emo bangs.
Yeah.
He did have a kind of a scene look in that. Well,
he sure
scene.
did. Yeah. Continues and says, but jokes aside, I adore these designs and the meanings they bring. This was when they were still young and still normal, before they became the monsters we know, before they massacred the Kurta clan, became just another atrocity, barely worth remembering, and that the contrast between how they look now versus then really illustrates how far they are now from where they once stood. Particularly Pakunoda here. I love that 99 went with this very plain and sober long dress for here. It almost gives her a school teacher vibe. A world apart from the alluring yet cold suit she wears now. All the while we get a small rendition of her theme, which we will hear in full next week. Good to hear.
I got chills thinking about that now. Oh man.
Yeah, that's very good.
I don't know if we really emphasize enough, but that track was really damn good.
It was very, very good. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Also, I know that people can complain that this part drags a bit, but I want you to know that while all this is happening, Gon is still hanging upside down.
Oh my god.
I had that in the back of my head the whole time.
He's going to make him pass out. Damn.
Yeah. On to episode 68, the episode starts right away with the interrogation scene, and I know I've mentioned this many times now, but this is probably the last time I'll be able to. Back to the color palettes. Again, 2011 goes for a super gray palette here with the heavy rain, dark car, and even Kurapika's more monochromatic costume with a gray wig. While in 99 we get bright car lights on the road, vibrant neon signs on the streets, and Kurapika is even wearing makeup. In short, a much more colorful palette. Unlike in the manga or 2011, where there's more of a back and forward, we get a rather uninterrupted sequence from Kurapika's perspective till the call for the exchange is made. And the atmosphere is great, that smile Crollo has, even as Kurapika brutally beats him up, Leorio desperately trying to calm him down while Crollo casually spits out a tooth, the close-ups and Dutch angles when Melody tries to explain Crollo's heartbeat, and the awkward pause before Leorio started driving again, because he realizes there's nothing else he can do right now. Yeah. I don't know why, but the addition of the mini flashback of Uvo's last words got stuck in my head once I saw it. Not sure why, it just feels appropriate. Yeah. And after that incredibly tense scene, we cut to Miluki, because that's the most important subplot to return here. And yes, this scene is in the manga around this moment too. Oh, of course it is. That's such a Togashiism.
And I mean,
doing that shit.
It's a very simple tension breaker moment too, just to
Yeah.
check in randomly on this character who has done absolutely nothing this entire arc. You know.
Yeah.
It works.
It does. Remember Zepile? 99 hates that guy. Holy
Dude,
shit.
oh my god. Yeah, dude, I actually forgot he existed.
Will we see him again? I don't know if we will.
If we're lucky, we get a name drop from Gon and Killua, and that's it.
Yeah, maybe. That's crazy. Back to the clearly lesser subplot. Finks gets Kurapika's call. I really like how he's about to pass the phone to Paku when he got the idea for this prank. Again, the animators didn't have to bother with that extra interaction, but it's appreciated. Also Paku joining Nobunaga and Machi on the beatdown. It's nice to see her being less stoic. Foolproof plan, Phaeton. I can't believe she noticed. Also, yes, the cable is in the manga. Hell yeah. While with all this childish buffoonery done with, we go to the all too serious hostage negotiation with cuts to Pakunoda's sins crawling on her back. Back to when she leaves and Nobunaga and Finks almost begin a fight and Shizuku knocks Nobunaga out cold. I really like the implication that the cross she wears is a connection she has with Crollo. Shizuku has always been very ambiguous on her motivations, but unquestionably loyal, and this might be a small window as to why.
That's a really good observation. I didn't really think about that, but yeah.
Yeah.
It serves as a nice
absolutely.
little connection between the two, despite it being really subtle.
Yeah, totally. And so, with a text message from Hisoka and a very cool transition to who he's calling, the episode comes to an end. We're in the end game now. Next time on Hunter x Hunter, final confrontation, 6 bullets, the East.
Ah, that's a good title.
Going east, baby.
We're going east. Man, I'm so excited, guys, to get into this final part of Yorknew.
Me too. Yeah.
Despite a lot of the issues I've had with the Yorknew, where I haven't had a lot of issues with the Yorknew arc as a whole in 99. Just some of the bigger moments maybe let me down a little bit, but the bar has really been raised a lot with these OVA episodes, so I'm really excited to see how it all ends.
Yeah, I can't wait. I've been very impressed so far with this OVA, so this will be great, I'm sure.
Appreciate everybody writing in for today. A lot of good discussion all around, I think. Usual reminder again, if you want to get in on the fun, along with all these lovely people discussing any given topic week to week, make sure you keep an eye out for the YouTube community posts, the Twitter posts, and the Bluesky call-out posts. And of course, you can always email us at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com.
That's right, and with that, this has been the Hunter Association. Thank you so much for listening. We are available on all major podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube for the video version. Be sure to follow, rate, review, and comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And you can also follow us on Twitter at TX868Pod, as well as Bluesky at THAPod for updates on the show. And as an alternative way to submit responses to the weekly call-out posts. As always, we'll be here the same time every week talking about Hunter x Hunter. Dylan, where can people find you online?
You can do so at DJ Tengen on Twitter and Bluesky. That's DJTENGEN. Yeah, I've been, I don't know. It's been One Piece card game stuff a lot lately. Again, I apologize if you follow me and you're not into that. But go follow my socials if you're interested in what I'm up to.
Right on, and you can find me on Bluesky and YouTube at Manga Cage. Manga Cage Awards soon.
Very, very exciting.
As for the show, next week, obviously, we're just carrying on episodes 69 and 70, or episodes 7 and 8 of the OVA, and we will be ending off the OVA. This will be the end of Yorknew and the end of this first OVA series.
Incredibly exciting that we're here now. Again, I can't emphasize it enough. I'm really excited to see how they do these final moments here of Yorknew.
Yes. Very, very excited. Dylan, Bleach updates. Go ahead.
Yeah. The this is like a tradition now, right? End of every podcast episode, Bleach updates for like the 2 people that are interested. Just finished the first big section, I guess what you call it, of the Arrancar saga. I could barely speak that. Just finished up the first part of Waco Mundo specifically. And according to Kaige, I'm about to get into one of the best flashbacks of all time. So,
oh yeah,
very, very excited to see where that comes, or what comes of that rather. And I've been loving what I've been reading of this part of the series. It's been nonstop bangers for the last 20 or 30 chapters that I've been reading. And also Kenpachi is solidified as my -- GOAT in the series. That dude just never has a bad moment, I think.
Never. He's the GOAT.
He might be he's top 3 coolest shonen characters of all time. I'm gonna say it.
I mean, he's built different. He's so cool. Yeah. I love him.
I know he's just like the hype moments and aura guy to a lot of people probably, but like I'm a sucker for that shit. So it is what it is.
Yeah. All right, that's all we got this week then. Thank you all for listening and watching, and we will see you next week for the end of Yorknew City. Very exciting.
Be there or be square. Take care, everybody.
See you guys.